Oh, wait. Hold on. Nick, can you
What?
can you hear me now?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I can hear you.
It's not my internet.
That little jab. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stretch It Out podcast.
Woohoo! Yo, woo.
Podcast land.
We finally made it back.
Yeah, Audrey will share more about that, right?
I don't think I need to. I mean, is it?
Audrey will share more about why it's taken so long for us to get back to this beautiful land we love.
Well, it's been, it's I've been lagging, but for good reason. For good reason. Reasoning? I can't even speak right now. I just woke up out of a nap. For good reasoning. That's
reasoning.
Yeah, I said reason or something.
You said reason like.
No,
like Reason, like the chocolates, like Reason chocolates. Remember those? Oh, those were so amazing. Good. Those were the bomb.com. Is that what you were talking about? Reason?
I mean, I could be talking about those.
Sort of sounded like it's possible.
Welcome to the Stretch family, guys.
Yeah.
We're obsessed with candy.
Always.
Any word you say, we can bring it back to candy in some way, or sweets or sugar.
Always down for the sweetness. So welcome back to Podcast Land. Welcome to all of our listeners. Welcome back. My name is Nick Stretch, and with me as always is my amazing sister Audrey. Say hi, baby sis.
The baby sister, Le Audrey.
And wherever you are right now in the world and in life, we're glad to have you here with us in Podcast Land. And if you're new here, if it's your first time hanging out in Podcast Land with Stretch It Out Podcast fam, welcome. We are so happy you're here.
We need like a clapping thing, like woo, welcome.
Yes, yeah. You like that? Trying to make it a little more official. So I'm just super excited to be back in podcast land.
If you are new here, obviously you're on episode 27, but if you refer back to episode 26, Nick kept saying that he couldn't hear me and that my internet was just not working. But when we played everything back, Nick looks a little silly because I was coming in loud and clear.
I was getting a little frustrated. So that's what made it funny.
And you played it back. I listened to it at the gym.
I played it back and I was like, okay, she's coming in like super crispy. So
I was like, this is probably the most crispiest I've ever sounded.
Yeah, you were like, it's almost like I blew my mic up perfectly because it sounded so good that day.
All the dust.
That's how you know you haven't been in podcast land in too long. When you get to the mic and you sit down and it's time to record and you have to go to get started and a bunch of dust flies everywhere. I'm just explaining it to people in case they're new, right? I'm just assuming we're getting new people all the time.
We are getting new people. They're just still listening to episode 8 or number 8 or 9,
It's cool. It's cool.
Eventually they'll catch up to us.
It's funny. So what's the what are we talking about today?
So I had pretty a rough it was a rough week in the beginning, and then or last week we're talking about where it's just a rough week, life happens. And I called Nick up because I think we were supposed to record that day.
I think we tried to record every day the last 16 days and it didn't work out.
And it's been me. Okay, I'm going to share my good news, but I'll share it later. But let me tell you the story first. Story time.
Twisted her arm.
I'm over here playing with my hair. So we wanted to talk about You've Got a Friend in Me, Disney reference. Because I had something going on. I went out to my car. I was getting ready to go out to the gym and my car did not start. And Marcelo was still gone. He was still in the fire. So keep this in mind. And my car didn't start. But
Marcelo's the boyfriend for all of our new listeners.
He is the boyfriend. And so my car battery died. And I was just like, dang it. Thankfully I'm watching Marcelo's dog here at my friend's house. I always call him Uncle Woody. Here at his house because he loves Rio, which is the dog's name.
Wait a second. So the dude's name is Woody.
Yes. Well, his real name is Steven. but we all
Oh, did
call
we
him.
just change his name to Woody to match with our title of the episode?
No, his last name is Wood, so everybody calls him Woody.
Oh, and that's crazy that we're using "You've Got a Friend in Me" as the
I
title.
know,
So
right? So
that
then
is fantastic.
I could be Buzz Lightyear.
You could, except I don't think you spend much time just being buzzed. I say that out loud. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
So anywho, Woody is like, he's just like he's a younger version of Dad. Fixes everything up. Knows how to work on
Awesome.
car. You know, yeah, he's very handy man. So he saw that my car wasn't starting, and he was like, okay, it's like and keep in mind he came home just for lunch, so he was still working. He came home from lunch, and I'm like, my car battery's dead. Like I got a good new battery, and it turned into this whole thing. We jumped my car, took it to AutoZone, didn't shut the car off the whole time because we were like so scared it was going to die again until we got the battery. AutoZone people who were there were just, I don't like to think they were purposely trying to like scam me out of money. I just think they were being maybe just naive and not checking like the alternator first.
Not being thorough.
Yeah.
And just kind of jumping to conclusions.
Yes.
They tend to do that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, it's like, no, it's not that. It's going to cost you $800.
Yeah, that's exactly. So they said, first, here's a battery that's $188. And so we put the new battery in, and then we're checking the charge on it. And we're like, well, the charge still sucks, and this is a brand new battery. So it's the alternator. Didn't you guys test it? And then they were like, no. So I asked them, like, okay, well, just give me my money back for this battery, and I'm going to get a new alternator. And then they were like, well, you already put the battery in your car, so you can't get a refund.
Nice.
And I'm like,
nice. They're like, we got you, basically.
Yeah. So I was a little bit upset because
how many dudes at this time are like ganging up on you? Like in my mind, I have like 3 different guys. Like, yep, sorry, it is what it is. Was it that bad, or was it 3 different people?
Well, it was one guy. It was like one kid, and then the manager, which like didn't really speak to us. Everything the manager was saying to us was being relayed through the kid, and then there was another female. And
so language barrier a little bit.
Yeah, it was like the telephone game. So when Woody had heard that, and Woody don't take no crap from no one, he like barged in. He's like, "Who told her this?" He's like, "We're gonna have a problem. We need to fix this," you know.
Wow.
And so when that happened, they were like, no, we never said that to her. We never said that. And he was like, listen, I told you what I want, and let's get this done. Let's get her money back. He's like, I'm going to take it home. I'm going to fix this car myself. And keep in mind, the whole time he's supposed to be back at work. So he ended up taking the rest of the day off for me. So wow. He can help me fix my car. He's got friends, who, he's the type of guy that's like, let me make a call. He ended up calling a friend, said, hey, she's got this alternator, because the alternator for Volkswagen, because flipping Volkswagen wants the alternator, like their parts to only be dealership purchased.
Money.
So, which means the alternator alone, the Volkswagen was going to be about $700, $800.
Dang.
And that was just like the basic one. So I'm like, gosh, dang it. But he has a friend who like works on German cars and stuff. And so he asked me, he's like, hey, she needs an alternator, all this stuff, blah, blah. And his friend was like, yeah, he's like, $35, I'll have the part, and then I'll rebuild it to fit her car. And they ended up killing my battery. So I had to get a battery, but Woody he works in construction. So he's actually in the midst of doing this big project with a Ford dealership. And he told them everything that was going on. And they said, well, here, we have a battery, like, $120, just take it. So I actually ended up saving like a bunch of money because of Woody.
I need Woody's phone number.
Yeah. Down. Woody, can you save my car? Can you help it?
Yeah. Tell him I want to have a friend in him. So he's got a friend in me. I just need his number. I need someone like that to. Just kidding. He just seems like a great guy. It
was. And I know the story. You're like, okay, cool. The guy helped you out with your car. But I'm like, we were at the AutoZone for like 3 hours in 100-degree weather, arguing with the manager, saying like, no, she needs her money back, and waiting for them to change the battery in and out. And it was a bit of a hassle.
Well,
not too many friends would have. Yeah. Not
Shout
too
out
many
to
people would have hung out for that amount of time and then still got the job done like that night.
Yeah, very fortunate that Woody was there. Thank you,
Yes.
Woody.
Yes. Thank you, Woody. He's
Woody's the
sleeping
man.
actually right now. He's in the next room sleeping.
Nice. What up, Woody?
He's probably like, shut up, let me sleep. No, I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool. Cool story,
Right?
bro. Cool story. Yeah.
It's
Cool
just
story.
like my whole thing is like I love when stuff happens like that. I mean, I don't love that it happened, but things in life do happen, and knowing that I have a friend that's going to be there for me, like truly through thick and thin, and knowing that like when my friends can always count on me.
Yeah.
Like if
That's
I can
huge.
help, if I can help in any way, like absolutely, I'll do whatever I can to help anybody else out.
Right on. Yeah. And that's the key, though, what you just said. If you can, right? If you can afford to. My problem always has been I say yes, even if I can't, even if I'm like, I would be stretching myself too thin.
Ah, see? And we talked about this before.
Yeah. But I've worked on it. And I can say that I think I'm getting better at it. It's not easy to do. It's still very hard to do. But
Yeah.
I'm doing it, and I'm not like walking around, throwing the middle finger at all my friends, but I'm trying to be I'm trying to be very careful with my time and what I'm committing myself to.
Yeah.
Old Nick, I would have just done it because that's just I cared more about pleasing everybody else than I did about taking care of myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm getting better at it, so I think that's key to kind of what we're talking about. I know we want to get into just friendships in general, right? And why they're a worthy investment of our time and energy.
And I think that's a great word choice. Saying friendships are investments.
They are.
That's what they are. So there's people who are out there who, this is me being petty. But I don't like it when it happens a lot with girls, not with men. But I don't like it when girls say, "Oh, that's why I don't have a lot of girlfriends. That's why I don't like hanging around with girls." And us women, we are different breeds from men, and for me, yes, sometimes it is easier to get along with guys, but at the same time, I love having formed those strong bonds with women because when you have a strong female friendship surrounding you, you feel completely empowered.
Amen. Amen.
And it is hard. It is hard to have like to find it's difficult to find those close friendships because as women I know that we can get pretty catty sometimes, but to be able to have that friendship, and if there is a friend that they are becoming too catty, for you to stand up and like say what you want to say rather than being passive aggressive, it makes your friendship even stronger.
Yeah, I agree. You have to be able to communicate, right?
Yes. And
but to your point,
and I think that's like the lack that kind of happens sometimes. Because there's a lot of women who it's like, if I had a friend and they said something and it bothered me and it's like, well, I don't want to talk to that person anymore, rather than confronting it, then all I'm doing is just running away.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I've talked about her before, Roxanne. Hello, Roxanne.
Roxanne.
Which her daughter just recently got married. I don't know if I told you all that.
Congrats.
Yeah, she got the COVID wedding. But she couldn't wait, so I don't know. I completely understand. But and Roxanne and I talk about this all the time, and she told me like when this was even when she was just my boss, like when we first met, and everybody was so terrified of Roxanne. Like you meet Roxanne and she just looks scary. Not scary, intimidating. She intimidates you.
Intimidating, yeah, better choice of words.
Not scary. But she does where it's like, oh my God, you better make sure you know your stuff, And and she tells me this all the time. She was like, when I knew that we were going to have a friendship, is when you stood up for yourself, like up against me as your boss. And I kind of snapped at her and was like, get out of my store. Like, you need to leave, you know? I'm not saying disrespect your guys' boss at all. She was just being very demanding that day. And I finally reached my limit of like telling her, you need to leave. Like, I don't want to see you for 30 minutes.
Dang.
I need to calm down because
Cojones right there. I ain't got those.
Yeah. So she did.
Nope.
But that was also for her side, she even said, she was like, I needed to know as a leader that I needed to respect that of you. And so we still kind of have that in our friendship too, where she could be going through something that's kind of life changing in her life, or me with all this whole being unemployed. I like to call it vacation for 8 months.
8-month vacay.
Like I've been having like my highs and lows where it's like, okay, I'm feeling great, but then it's like, oh God, I feel worthless because I don't have a job, and she knows where those boundaries are at, but she also knows when she needs to push those boundaries to get me out of my funk. And that's why she's like one of my best friends. She is one of my best friends. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Same with Jay, it's like the same with all my female friends. I love it. So that was on female friendships, guys. Nick, you want to talk about male friendships? You guys just play Halo and stuff for Fortnite?
You know it. That's basically what we do. No, I feel a little weird because I have my retainers in. Do I sound like super like super cool? Super cool. That's what I feel like.
Do you sound like Mike Tyson?
That's what I sound like, but it's bothering me a little bit. But anyways,
no, we didn't notice it until you just did it. At least
so. Well, at least I'm getting it out there now, so now you can listen for it the rest of the episode. Right? It's a fun drinking game. Every time you can't say an S, let's take a sip. So,
secret word.
Yeah, secret word. Secret word. So you are one of my closest friends, and that's why I'm so grateful we get to hang out Podcast Land every other month. I'm really enjoying that.
That was the ugliest laugh I ever did. I was drinking. I was
like, I'm gonna die choking.
Sorry to the listeners. A quick little plug: if you guys like healthy energy drinks, go to Jenna's online store Amway and try the mango, pineapple, guava sparkling energy drink. It's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, they'll remember that. You want to drop them something in their inbox? Like a link or something? Audrey will email everybody that's listening to the podcast right now.
I will. Here, let me put something up on Instagram and be like, survey who wants to know who needs the link for Jenna's store. I love it. She calls her store the bodega because that's like in New York. It's like they have little bodega shops.
Oh, cool. I wasn't familiar with bodega shops.
She had to tell me she was like, oh, it's like your little small convenience store, but it's on like every
That's cool.
block. So it's like, oh, I'm going to go to the bodega real quick. So
that's awesome.
Her thing, it's like Jenna's bodega.
I like.
So
no, I like the plug.
Yeah.
I like the plug. But no, you were making a good point when you mentioned when you were talking about your, your friends and your awesome relationships with your closest friends. And I'm very fortunate that I have some amazing friends. Like, I feel like I just have family when it comes to my friends. But I think there are sacrifices that have to be made in any friendship, even the ones that are like the best, and I feel like that with all my friends, like where you just connect with your friends, like on a level that's just like super genuine, sincere. And you're just like, man, I really love this guy or gal. I love hanging out with them. And all of those are relationships, and any relationship requires work. It requires sacrifice from both sides.
Yes.
And there are feelings involved,
Yeah.
There are feelings involved. And I tend to be like really upfront about that. Like, I acknowledge that we all have feelings. I know it sounds really weird, and I think maybe some people, it makes them feel a little uncomfortable because they're like, why are you talking about feelings? But I have feelings, and I like to tell people, like, especially if I'm inviting people over, I
Mm-hmm.
never, I never want my friends to feel like, oh, Nick invited us, we got to go, or we're going to hurt his feelings. So I'll tell you, I'll like, I'll give you a little disclaimer there, like, hey, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't want to come down or if you can't make it, right? But hey, if you can come down, right? And it'll totally make my entire year if you show up. I'm just kidding, I don't say that, but I do say, come down, hang out, but no big deal if you can't make it, and
I
I think that's important.
I do the exact same thing. So my like this is like typically my invitation of like I did it to my friend Pablo just the other day. I said, "Hey Pablo, like, Marcella's coming back. Like you, me, Marcella, and your girl, like we should all go out to dinner." And but then at the end of the text, I'm like, "But if you're busy tonight, like don't even worry. Like I totally get it."
Right, right. Which is fine. I think that's a good thing. I think that's okay. It's okay to let your friends know, like, hey, it's not a big deal. You don't have to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
And
sometimes in it they feel pressured, and
right,
I don't want to. I'm not there for that. It's totally
right.
fine.
And I have some friends that I just know straight up, like they just don't, their feelings just don't get hurt as easily as others.
Mm-hmm.
But we all have feelings, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always kind of trying to do everything I can to include everybody because I want the more the merrier. I want everybody to be there. But my point,
Yeah.
what I was trying to get to, is that it does require sacrifice, does require a lot of work. And one of the things that I've learned to do, I think over the years, and a lot of this again comes from just a lot of the books that I've read. Right, I don't have like a PhD or anything. I don't know. I don't want people to think that I know what I'm talking about. I
Oh
just
wait,
I just
you
have read a
don't
lot
have
of
a
books.
you don't have a PhD?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
27
Um,
episodes. I thought you did. I thought.
I know by this time, but no, I just know that I've learned a lot. Right, I've learned a lot about myself and how to make myself try to be better. Right, I'm still a complete mess, so don't take that the wrong way either. But I've learned really over the years that because at one point in time I think in a lot of ways I would see things with my friends that I would feel kind of obligated to try to fix. You ever feel that way? Like you usually don't feel that way with friends until you've been friends with them for a long time, and then you start to find out there's things about them that you're like, I wish I could fix that for them. You ever been that way?
Yes.
Okay, I think honestly, I feel a little like I'm being super open book to everybody right now with this, like how I feel. Um, but I hope that I'm not the only one that feels that way. So I'm glad you said you felt that way. I think that we all get to that point in some like some extreme, like maybe not too much, but maybe a little bit. Like I don't know. And I've learned that that's really not the way to think about that at all. And instead, I feel like I want my friends to see the good that I see in them because it's obvious that we all have bad in us. All
Yeah.
of us do. We all have things we don't like about ourselves and our imperfections. And we don't enjoy looking at that all the time or being reminded of that all of the time. And I want my friends to enjoy being around me, right? I want to enjoy being around them. And one of the things that's helped me over the years is not just focusing on the good that I see it in each of my friends, but I want them to see it too. And so a good example of that would be you ever have a friend that tells you, man, I'm a real asshole, or I'm just, and I do it, that self-deprecating talk. I've worked on it. I've gotten a lot better. On that. But
Which is so funny because anybody, guys, you can ask anybody who's a friend of Nick, and I've never heard anybody say like, "Oh yeah, Nick's an asshole." Like if anything, they're like, "Yeah, your sister's an asshole. Your baby sister's an ass, not
well,
you."
no, but you got to consider the whole context. There is you are my sister, so of course no one's going to tell you that I'm an asshole. So you got to keep that in mind too, right? Like
No,
they're not going to give you like the whole. But I get it. I get what you're saying. I think you meant that as a compliment, and I appreciate that. But what I'm saying, or what I think I was trying to say, was I feel like my relationships with all of my friends are much better when I can be the friend that when they say that or when they make little comments like that, that not only reminds them, hey, no, you're not,
mm-hmm.
but I can remind them of what I love about them, right? I can remind them of, the things that I love and enjoy about them and why I like hanging out with them. I would rather not tell or try to teach my friends anything, because that's not what they want. That's not why they're hanging out with me, right? They're not hanging out with me because they want to learn how to fix all the things that are wrong with them. And I'm not hanging out with them because I want to learn how to fix all the things that are wrong with me. I'm hanging out with them because I enjoy their company, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy them. We have some things in common, and I want to just hang out and enjoy life with them. And I feel like I'm able to add value to my friends if I can remind them of how good they make me feel. And sometimes it's as simple as just saying, "Hey, handsome. Hey, good looking," or "Hey, if I see like, man, that shirt looks really good on you." Like, I'm gonna tell you that. Like, I don't care if you're my guy friend, right? And I've had plenty of people be like, "Oh, what are you, man? You into dudes now or whatever?" I'm like, "Well, no, but I do love you. You're my friend. You are a dude, and you look really good in that shirt. And I just wanted to let you know that you look really
Yeah.
good." I
Guys
think,
need compliments too.
yeah. But my point is, I enjoy that, and I've grown to really love that. And I think focusing on those things makes all the other stuff that does kind of bubble up. I mean, it will in any relationship. You're going to be challenged. I think it makes it easier for both of you to overcome those challenges, to overcome those things that are inevitably going to happen, right? Maybe it's a disagreement, it's an argument, it's a number of things, right? With friends, because we're all human beings. We've got our different wants and needs, likes and dislikes, and we're not going to agree on everything all the time. But for me, all I care about is how awesome I think you are, and how much I want you to see how awesome you are. That's like my goal. Like, if you're my friend, that's all I want for you. I don't want you to love me more. I used to want that. Like, in every relationship, I was working to figure out how to make them love me more. And it wasn't until I realized I was really passionate about adding value to others and not so passionate about adding value to myself, right? Which I had to work on that.
Right.
So that I could truly add value to others. But when I realized that, I'm like, wow, I've had this all backwards, right? I want to add value to my friends. That makes me feel good. Maybe it's not going to make them feel good all the time, but that's what I want to do. And can I do it all the time? Am I successful all the time? No, because I'm, I want to be kind 24/7 and be in a great mood 24/7. And I know all my friends are that way. They want to be kind 24/7 and be in a great mood 24/7. Guess what? We're all human beings. We cannot be that way all the time.
Yeah.
We can't be that way. And even on this podcast, you listen to the different episodes. There's episodes where you can tell, like, we're just not, the energy's not the same, or, I'm not as passionate about a particular topic as I thought I was going to be. Like, that's just life, right? And I feel like if we were all focused a little bit more on just how good people are and reminding them about how good they are and how great they are, and less focused on reminding people about the things they've got to work on, because we've got to work on those same things, right? Or maybe it's not the exact same things, but we've got to work on the same amount of stuff, right? So what's the point? I feel like if we did that, I just think that there would be a lot more long lasting relationships. There's so many, you talk to people, I talk to people. There's just, you can take it to, I don't know, the extreme of like divorces and stuff, right? There's just so many things, but relationships in general, right? Getting back to just being friends and having long lasting relationships. I really feel like if someone was to ask me, like, what's the secret? And I'm not saying just everybody's your friend because everybody's your friend, right? You have to have boundaries. You have to know, like, okay, this is not somebody that I you know what I mean? Like, there are poisonous people out there, right? That are not out.
Yeah.
They don't have your best interests in mind.
You have to learn. You have to be able to find that, to be able to not
right.
but
I'm not saying like just walk, just wander the world with this crazy naivete, like, that's not going to work out for you, right? It's not going to work out. I promise you. But
I think something else too, that after you talking about all this, sorry, drinking my mango guava pineapple thing, is that sometimes friendships kind of you guys can be friends for such a long time, and sometimes they part ways too. Um,
Right, right. Like you
like
grow differently, right?
yes, and I mean I have just within this past year, well maybe like a year and a half, I actually had that with a really good friend of mine, and it's it's not anything necessarily bad. It's just she ended up kind of hanging out with new group of friends, and I ended up hanging out with new groups of friends, and we kind of went our separate ways, but at the same time, like, we don't hate on each other. I don't, it's not like I don't like her. I still call her a friend.
Right.
She's still done so much for me, and I've done so much for her, and we've been there for each other, and I think sometimes people think like just because like a friendship ends just because you don't see each other every single day, or things change in the friendship, that, oh well, they're not my friend anymore. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Like, I still wish her the best, and I want her to succeed, and she is killing it, you know.
Awesome. Awesome.
So in oftentimes I look back where it's like, okay, well, I wasn't in that industry, so you know how they always say, like, surround yourself with the 5 people that you want to be like,
Yes.
right? And that's what she needed to do for her career and her well-being, because she's killing it in her career. Her health wise, she's lost so much weight. She looks beautiful. She looks amazing, you know. And it's kind of like, okay, well, she needed to go down that path because look at where she is now,
It's
you know.
awesome.
So that's another one. I think a lot of times people are like, oh well, she doesn't talk to me, or she doesn't call me, or he doesn't message me anymore, you know. And it's like, okay,
Well,
well,
that
why don't you
see, but
reach
that
out?
goes that but that's my thing, right? We're talking about corrective perspective. Again, if you're new here, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're
Yes.
mixing up right now is a nice little bit of corrective perspective. And that's what we're talking about. The perspective, right? When I say, I think when I figured that out, when I learned that I was focused on the wrong things, my perspective just needed to be tweaked. It sounds like when you say, people that are that way, that are like, oh, they're not my friend anymore. Those are the people that are looking at the friendship, trying to figure out what they can gain from it.
Yeah.
I think when you have a friendship that supersedes, just the basic give and take relationship, when you truly do have a love for that person, that you're like, wow, like I love and care about that person enough that I I'm not focused on what I'm getting out of this relationship. I'm more focused on what I'm giving them.
Mm-hmm.
Then it makes it really hard for anyone or anything to tear that down
Yeah.
because the foundation is just so solid at that point. I mean, how do the foundation is really pure, genuine love. That's what it is, right? And like when I hang out with my friends, like they know, like I genuinely, sincerely, freaking love my friends, and you know that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a friendship anymore. And that, getting back to what you were saying, that perspective or corrective perspective, as we like to call it, would totally remedy that. They wouldn't be thinking, oh, they're not my friend anymore because she doesn't talk to me anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? They would be thinking, that's still my friend. And when I think about them, I'm going to let them know I'm thinking about them. I have a really close friend. You remember Chuck Marshall? I've talked about him before
Yeah.
on a couple episodes. And you know Chuck well. I mean, Chuck's like one of my best friends, like an older brother to me. And I mean, been through so much with that guy. He knows my heart inside and out. And Chuck and I don't talk all the time, but every time that guy thinks about me, I know. You know why? He
What?
sends me a text. He gives me a phone call, and he tells me, hey, it's not, hey man, I haven't talked to you in a year. Can you call me? It's never that. It's, hey brother, I was thinking about you. Hope the family's well. Praying for you guys. Or it's something encouraging, like, hey, I hope you're recording your music. Right? He's one of my biggest encouragers when it comes to my music. He knows I love it, and he's always encouraged me to stick with it. And here's this guy that I haven't seen. I haven't shook his hand, given him a hug in person, and I don't know how long. But he's still one of my best, closest friends, and he's still somebody I can call on at any time, and
Yeah.
laugh or cry with. So shout out to
That's
Chuck
one
for
of
that.
the best ones, and I feel like that's what so many of my friendships are. Like, even my friend Pablo. Oh, Pablo's guys, you guys got to find yourself a Pablo, okay? He's the number one.
Pablo sounds awesome.
There's been times where, you know, him and I don't talk for 2 months, and I can call him. He can call me up, and pre-COVID, and he'd be like,
Right.
"Hey, let's go meet at PT's," because PT's was like our thing. We always go and get a Zuki, you know, with like the cookie, the baked cookie with a scoop of ice cream on top.
Right. The Pazuki, that's what they call it at BJ's.
Yes, so PTs can't call it that because it's like trademark, so they just call it a Zuki. Same thing.
Smart.
But like that was always our thing, is like go there, hang out, we talk about like the work week or like what do we got going on, and we just laugh and have fun. We play pool, and like that was our thing. And but we can go for so long without talking, but he knows that he can call me up anytime and say, hey, you know, I just need to talk to somebody, or I need help with something. And it's like, boom, I'm there. And it's
right.
I cannot talk to him for like a year and be like, hey, I need help moving. Can you come over? And he's there. He'll be like, okay, what do you need? I'm there, you know? And there's just so many good friendships. And I will say it's really difficult to find like really good friendships. I mean, in Texas, I feel like it's easy, but here it's hard to find good friends in Las Vegas who are committed to a friendship.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including people's hearts. So remember that.
I was going to say, including the love.
It is. It's true. So we're at 36 minutes and 20-something seconds, and we have a new segment. We didn't even tell anybody about it, that we have a brand new segment. Currently, no official sponsors, so it's sponsored by kindness.
I like how you say brand new segment. Guys, this is our first segment.
Well, yeah, but it's always kind of been a part, and it just happened naturally. And I said, why don't we call that something, right?
Yes.
So I think we should end this episode with our brand new segment. And it's not necessarily brand. Yeah, it is our first segment. We've never had a segment. So, hey, guys, we have a segment now. That's what I should have said. Should I pull that out in post and just go, guys, we have a segment, or just leave all this like we always do? We never edit anything in post, just so y'all know. That just doesn't happen. I think I did that for like the first episode. I think it was like the first or second episode we edited something because it was like connection issues or something, but that was it. So
it was because like the
y'all get what you get.
Each of our audio was off, so like I was answering your questions before you were actually saying questions.
Is that what it was? I don't remember.
My audio was before yours, and I remember you saying, you're like, I gotta fix this in post, and then this is gonna be difficult.
yeah I don't like editing stuff in post.
I'm like, well, I don't have to do it, so okay, it sounds so shitty for you.
Yeah, Audrey, I'm like, I gotta edit this in post, and she's like, I could hear this like blender in the background. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm just making a margarita. You go get your editing on though. Go get that post.
Opening up a White Claw.
Yeah, get it. All right, so let's do our new segment. Our segment. Sorry, our first segment. And what is the segment called?
Well, why don't you just play it, and I'm pretty sure they'll be able to figure it out.
Well, I want to let everybody know what we call it because they're not going to know what we're saying.
Yeah, they are, because they're going to hear the music.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to tell y'all what it's called.
Guys, I think you think you're not as smart as you think you are.
I think you guys are pretty bright. Okay, but the segment's called the Shout It Out segment, and we're just going to do some shout outs to, whatever we want to shout out. But we want to open up our Shout It Out segment to all of our listeners. We think it would be really cool if there's something you'd like us to shout out, or somebody, we know we have a fairly small, audience, and we want to take advantage of that. Like, we want to see how deep we can go with our audience, with our listeners. And if you've got something you'd like us to shout out, we could probably do it, right? Like we could probably shout it out. It could be, birthday wishes or anything really. Right. But we would love to use that as a way to add value to our listeners. So this segment is called the Shout It Out segment, and we have a really cool little song, and it goes a little something like this. Shout it out.
Shout it out.
Shout it out. Shout it out. Yeah, buddy. If that doesn't get you excited about a shout it out segment, I don't know what will.
Your wavelengths are so high on the screen.
Yeah. Peaking.
I can't wait till
But
we
you
can
should be.
record. I was doing
In the shout it out segment, you should be peaking the whole time. So, do I get to go or you're going to go first? You're going to go first, baby sis. It's the shout it out segment. Go.
First shout it out is obviously to my good and dear friend Woody for helping me out this week.
Woody!
Saving me.
Thanks, Woody. You're the man, Woody. Thank you. Seriously, Woody, thank you.
I will also do a shout out to Marcelo. No, I don't want to seem like biased with him, but he was gone in Idaho because half of the state of Idaho is also on fire, guys. And he was gone for 26 days non-stop working, and he worked the night shift. He was working from like 5 p.m. until about 9 a.m. the next morning.
Beast mode. Thank you to Marcelo. Thank you to all the firefighters, all the first responders everywhere. Thank you. But thank you, Marcelo. What else you got, baby sis?
I think that's all I got for now.
All right. Hey, and that's all good, right? I have a couple of shout outs.
Shout out to Da Vinci for giving me a job. We'll talk about that next.
Oh, there it is. The bombshell. Audrey Stretch officially no longer unemployed. Shout out to you, Da Vinci. Da Vinci earned themselves a free plug right here. So shout out to Da Vinci. Thank you. And I've got a couple shout outs and we'll end it here. First shout out, one of my best good friends, James, just had a birthday. So happy birthday to you, James. He's on 21st birthday. The guy's got one of the biggest hearts. He's a great dude, great friend of mine. So love you, James. Happy birthday to you. Also, shout out to our great friend, Sean Rusin. Yes! Sean, thank you so much for hanging out with us in podcast land and for just being a advocate for kindness. Everything you do, I just love it. I know, really the RC hobby's what kind of introduced us, but I follow everything you do. I love everything you're doing, and I just love your perspective on life. So thank you, Sean, for the love, man. Big time.
We get so much love from you, Sean. I love it.
We love you, Sean. We appreciate you. Also, big shout out and congratulations to some very close friends of mine, Mike and Angie McDougall. They just had their first baby, beautiful baby girl, Brooklyn Hope. Welcome to the world, Brooklyn.
Welcome.
Thank God for that. My heart is so full, so blessed. You guys are. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's see some photos, Nick.
God. Yeah. Thank you, God, for that. So no, I'm just so grateful. And I'm sharing in that with you guys, Mike and Angie. I love you guys and congratulations. So last but not least, shout out to the MFB fam. You guys know who you are. You know I love you. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, for checking out the Stretch It Out podcast, for hanging out with us. We truly enjoy this time with you, with each of you. So thank you. And if nothing else, you got anything else, Audrey?
Oh, bow down to y'all. Thank you.
All right. We love you guys. Thanks again for checking out the Stretch It Out podcast.
Go out and spread some love this week.
Do it.
Just do it. You know what that's
have a great week. No.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You guys know where that's from? Let me know. Just do it.
All right. Love you guys. Have a good one. Peace and be kind. All that jazz.
Love y'all.
Peace.